question for you, just because I know a lot of students right now are in our current climate with us all of us staying home and staying healthy right now. A lot of students lost out on some on-campus work or off-campus work, and there might be students out there who are needing work right this second. What advice do you have for them? Not necessarily our graduating seniors, but the students who need work right away.
For all students, sure. Well, I'm going to recommend that they all keep in touch with Handshake, because there are, and like I say, I started with my first job was a temp job. I'm going to be seeing a lot of those. In fact, I saw an ad from a couple of different agencies that had a lot of temp jobs. A lot of employers are very uncertain right now and not knowing how long they can have employment. So I think part-time, temp jobs, look to the areas that are essential services. I think that, you know, as everything closed down, there was quite a long list of what our governor defined as essential services. Anything in healthcare, and this is true no matter what recession we're in, healthcare is always needed. Education is always needed. Most of our school districts are creating videos for students to look at, because not just teaching jobs, para-educator jobs. I think you just need a college degree for that, or they can get you emergency certified. But there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in the economy once we see what this, after the coronavirus. We've never experienced something where businesses have all shut down, except for essential services. So you want to look to, as I said, healthcare, education, the energy sector. So anything in public works, so our cities, our counties, all of those services have to be up and running. And then I think if I today lost my job, I would probably put in an application at Fred Meyer, maybe even Trader Joe's. I mean, the retail, essential groceries, those kinds of things that just support us. Those are essential services right now, and they are hiring.
Yes, I know for a fact they're hiring. I see it every single time I do my click list order on Fred Meyer, where they're looking for tons of people for part-time stock, pickup, delivery. The distribution centers are looking for a lot of that right now. Amazon was hiring quite a few people because they needed help in their warehouses. I wrote down a couple others that I just remember seeing recently on Handshake. The Nursing Commission, they are looking for a lot of people right now to help with getting nurses certified ASAP. This is a temp job. It's for a couple of months, but they need people who can do this remotely to help get a lot of nurses certified and get some help there. I also know that the state is hiring for people, again, temp work, to process the unemployment insurance applications that are coming through, because of course we're seeing quite an increase of those. And I also know Handshake has a lot of remote jobs open. I did want to ask you this because I know you worked at St. Martin's during the 2008-2009 recession. That's actually when I started St. Martin's. I entered in the fall of 2008. And I remember not really understanding, or I guess I should say caring much about it, because I was 18. I didn't really understand what that meant. And of course, looking back, I don't, it's crazy to think how stressed and just unpredictable all of that was. So for you, working during that time, what did you notice about the job market, and what was working for our students and graduates when they were going out and looking for jobs during those times?
Well, it was very stressful for our graduates, as I'm sure it is for our current seniors. And I remember talking to a group of engineers, and they were very honest with me, and this is engineering, you know, we're always going to need engineers. So that was kind of the last group that I thought was going to be stressed out. And they just said, you know what, we're just putting our heads down and we're not thinking about, because this whole future, this job market is terrible and we just don't want to think about it. And I just said, well, how many jobs do you need?
Yep.
So that's all you need to worry about is one job. Don't worry if Boeing is laying off 25,000 workers. You need one job. That's all. So the strategy does have to change a little bit because instead of seeing a lot of postings open, I told my seniors what you need to do before you graduate, and as soon as you graduate, as much time as you can devote to this, is you go and meet people that you're interested in companies. You'll never have a greater opportunity. You are oh so attractive as a student seeking information. So if you ever wondered what it was like to work for, I don't know, the city of Lacey, what is city government about? Make an appointment for a 15-minute information interview and find out what everybody does and find out what kind of needs that they have and see what resonates with you and what kinds of skills that you have that would fit into what they're doing. And this applies to all industries. In terms of networking, which can be kind of a frightening word, it sounds like going to a reception and having to schmooze with somebody, and none of us like to do that. But networking can be using LinkedIn and connecting with our thousands of St. Martin's alumni. They are the warmest audience you will ever have, and they have been extremely helpful in helping our students learn about what they're doing. I got this same degree at St. Martin's. I got a degree in psychology, and now I'm working at this agency, or I'm working for this. I had no idea about this. Here's how I fell into it. Everybody has a story like Alyssa and I can guarantee it. And they can talk about that. And the more, and again, you don't have to interview 50 people, but I think if you talk to 5 or 6 of them, you would get a pretty clear picture about, oh, okay, well, maybe I can start here. And that's all you have to do. One job, just get your foot in the door for the first one and get some experience. The Career Center will always be open to you to help with that next step anytime you're ready to take it. But I think my advice to seniors is to just jump in and try something. And if you're not ready to go to work yet because you've still got a month or month and a half left of work to do before you graduate, if you need help finding people to talk to, contact Alyssa and I. We have lots of very friendly people that would love to talk to you.
I don't think it means settling for the first opportunity that is presented to you, because I really do think that our students are going to still have a lot of options because they are very attractive students for our employers. They have the skills that they're looking for. They have the community involvement and a lot of the leadership skills. I was actually talking with a couple of them who were saying that the SMU applicants are usually some of their favorite because they know that these are competent students. They know their applications are going to be good, and they love what their resumes and cover letters are looking like. So that's been happy. It makes me happy to hear that. But they really like our students, and there's even a couple of them that are recruiting for post-grad internship programs. So if you want to get a foot in the door at that company, you can do an internship first. And most of the time they're saying it's turning into a full-time job.
It is absolutely just getting that foot in the door. And I think once we do enjoy a very good reputation in the community for the quality of the education people get with the St. Martin's education. One piece of advice I would give as you're thinking about how to present yourself to a potential employer is to be a little bit broader than your major. And I want you to be thinking in terms of what is your brand, maybe. What are you good at? And few of us are good at all at being able to say, oh, this is really my strong suit, unless somebody tells us that. So one thing Alyssa and I have done with students before is had them pull out their phones and phone a friend and say, what would you say is my greatest strength? and you might get some surprising answers, but that really will help you present what you can do for an organization, what you're good at, and it'll help define your choices a little bit better than if you say, well, I'm a business major. Well, you know, that's, employers don't think in terms of majors very often, unless you're an engineer or an accountant or a nurse. Then your major really makes a big difference. But for most other occupations, even though they value your degree, they're just not that specific about it. They'd really want to know somebody who has great communication ability, and not all of us do. One of my daughters, she's quite an introvert, and it would just drain her energy every day if she had to be customer facing or working with people all the time. She's got a perfect job working in the state, working in procurement, so she's getting bids and doing a lot of work on the computer. And yeah, she has interaction with people, but that's not the main part of her job. So knowing yourself and knowing where your strengths are really going to go a long way when you go to talk to people about what kind of work they have.
Along with that, practicing the elevator pitch. We have those resources up on our website. That way you can go through and do that critical thinking on, well, what are the skills that I would bring to an organization? What are some of the experiences that I have had that would be attractive for this employer or organization, whatever it is that you are looking for. And I would also say that, as you already stated, that we are happy to work with students through this. We're available for Zoom calls, emails, phone calls, text, whatever method is best for students. We just want to support you all in your searches, whether that is for a job after graduation, grad school, or you're a current student who will be joining us again in the fall, which, by the way, cannot wait to see everyone back in the fall. That is going to be just such a very energizing moment. But if there are on-campus opportunities that you're applying for, an internship, a volunteer opportunity, whatever it is, I mean, we're happy to help.